Yo, what's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing, back at you with another one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Bro, come on, man. All you gotta do is hit the like button, bro. All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button. Don't take that much, dog. Cause so, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that, bro. Listen, anyways, man. We have, it's not, I don't want to say it's been announced, but it's definitely coming out that Danny Garcia should be facing Jose Benavidez Jr. In July at 154. Interesting. I find this very interesting. I did talk to Jose, what was that, Friday? I talked to Jose Friday, and he did say he's fighting in July. I just don't know why I didn't think to ask who. Because I know at one point, see, a lot of people don't know this, at one point he was actually supposed to, scheduled to fight Arizlan De Lara in May, but I don't know what happened with that. And so now that, you know, it's being confirmed that he's fighting Danny Garcia. Interesting matchup. Danny Garcia at 154. Now Jose Benavidez's last fight was, you know, unimpressive. A lot of people thought that he should have lost that fight. That was in Phoenix, Arizona in November on the undercard of David Lemieux's younger brother. A lot of people thought that he should have lost that fight. That was his first fight back since Terrence Crawford, and it was at 160. Many people thought, including myself, I didn't think he looked that impressive. Obviously, you know, he's been shot. He was shot actually before the Terrence Crawford fight. He was, you know, shot in the leg or whatnot. And, you know, he's kind of not been his self or whatnot. Jose Benavidez, a lot of people don't know how Jose Benavidez was actually the one that was supposed to be where David Benavidez is now. But you know, with, you know, Jose Benavidez be in the streets, bro. Like, Jose Benavidez really be, you know, about that action and shit like that. He allowed him, you know, that street life to get the better of him, and, you know, with, you know, a few bad decisions, you know, he wasn't able to fulfill his accomplishments yet. You know, his career is not over, so you just never know. We're not gonna count him out yet. However, I do think this is a good little matchup for Danny Garcia to be at 154. Danny Garcia gets a lot of slack, and I don't understand why. I mean, like, people like to hold the whole Rod Soccer fight against Danny Garcia like forever, and I just don't understand that. I mean, Danny Garcia has a very, very good resume. You know, people have to understand, bro. When you break that, the people don't know how to break down a resume. It's about who they fought, but it's also about when they fought them, right? I'll give you a prime example. Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Berto in 2015 was fucking trash, right? It was garbage. But Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Berto, if that fight would have been in 2011 or 2010, that fight would have been, you know, amazing. That would have been a great name for Floyd Mayweather's resume. So that's what I'm saying. You have to look at when they fought a person. And Danny Garcia, again, he fought Eric Morales, right? People like to say Eric Morales was old, but again, I go by this rule. If you have a world title, then it is all fair game. I don't care how old or how young you are. If you have a world title, then it's fair game. You have to get credit for that. What is Danny Garcia? If that's the case, if not, what are you in the division for if you're not trying to get a world title? What's the point of you fighting in that division if you're not trying to get a world title? So you have to give him credit for Eric Morales, all right? Amir Khan. A lot of people like to look at Amir Khan now and say Amir Khan is he doesn't have a chin, his glass chin and all that. However, you have to give Danny Garcia credit. Danny Garcia was not the favorite. Amir Khan was the favorite. Danny Garcia was the underdog. Amir Khan was coming off of that Lamont Peterson loss, though a lot of people thought that he should have beaten Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson tested positive for the rematch. Amir Khan then elected to fight Danny Garcia. Nobody really knew Danny Garcia like that outside the fact that he just beat quote-unquote older Eric Morales. Amir Khan was the favorite. Danny Garcia stopped him, all right? Danny Garcia then rematches Eric Morales, knocks him out, fights Zab Judah. Stylistically, that was a great build-up to that fight. Very great build-up to that fight. It was a lot of bad blood going in there with Angel Garcia and Zab Judah. Danny Garcia then, you know, beats Zab Judah. Then Danny Garcia faces the boogeyman at the time. Lucas Matisse, whose record was 34-2 with 32 knockouts. The 2 losses are highly disputed. The first loss was against Zab Judah by split decision. He even dropped Zab Judah. All right, many people thought he beat Zab Judah. Second loss was against Devin Alexander. All right, 115-113, I believe. Many people thought that he could have got the edge on that. All right, so nobody decisively beat him. Nobody wanted to fight Lucas Matisse. Nobody. Danny Garcia got in there, beat him. All right, so you know that was at 140. You know, of course. Then that was actually on the undercard of Canelo versus Mayweather. But then, of course, you know, the Mauricio Herrera fight, many people thought that Danny should have lost that fight. Then he fought Rod Salka. People criticized the shit out of him to this day. They criticized the shit out of him for that. You know, then, you know, you know, he moved up, fought Paulie Malignaggi. Lamont Peterson fight, many people thought Lamont Peterson should have won that fight. He's been in there with the Keith Thurmans, the Sean Porters. Danny Garcia's been in there with quite a few people. Adrian Granados. Adrian Granados gave many people tough fights. Sean Porter, Adrian Broner, tough fights. Danny Garcia stopped Adrian Granados. Okay, he stopped him. The only person to stop Adrian Granados. Okay, so you know, been in there with Errol Spence. You know, that was his last fight. Speaking of Errol Spence, the Errol Spence fight was Danny Garcia's last fight, which was in December of 2020. We haven't seen Danny Garcia since. Danny Garcia been saying that he was open to move up to 154, and now he's doing it. I think that Danny Garcia is owed this type of fight. You know, we don't. You know, he's been gone for a year and a half. He's moving up to a division, right? So I think that I think he's owed this type of fight. I think he should fight Jose Benavidez Jr. I'm not mad at this fight at all. So now I'll drop my prediction. My prediction, obviously, I have Danny Garcia winning. Now I don't know what Danny Garcia is gonna look like at 154. Danny Garcia was not impressed. He had a good run at 140, and he had an okay run at 147. But he hasn't been impressive really. All right, so I'm not sure how he's gonna look at 154. I don't really see him having much success at 154. I definitely don't see him beating the top guys at 154. Okay, so I'm not so sure how this is gonna play out. But we're in the back end of Danny Garcia's career. Maybe he wants to be I know he's going for three-weight champion. Who knows? Maybe Jermell Charlo will relinquish some of the belts. Danny fights for a vacant belt, becomes a 3-division champ. You know, so I don't know, but I do have Danny Garcia beating Jose Benavidez. I just think Jose Benavidez is. I think that they should. I really think that he should have been built more properly after the Terrence Crawford fight. I guess Bob Arum was kind of done with him. That was his first loss against Terrence Crawford in a fight that he was actually competitive in. I'm not saying that he was winning, but I think he definitely was competitive in that fight. And he displayed a good version of himself in that fight. But he came up short, and he was out of the ring for like, what, 3 years? 2-3 years? Somewhere along that line. Okay? So, I think he was out the ring for like 3 years. Yep. And so, you know, he's building himself back up. And I'm not mad at that, but I kind of wish they would have built him in a better way. I didn't even like the fight. He was supposed to fight Erislandy Lara. I didn't even like that fight. I was just like, why? But his last fight, they called it a draw. Again, many people thought that he should have lost that fight. I was actually at that fight, and including myself. But, you know, again, Jose, that's the homie. Much love, much respect to him. I wish him the best. And may the best man win this fight. I do have Danny Garcia winning this fight. I don't know if I'm not gonna predict by knockout or decision yet. We don't know what Danny Garcia is like at 154. He was already kind of sluggish at 147. We don't know what he's gonna be like at 154. So I have to see. I just have to see what Danny's looking like, man. Make sure you guys like. Make sure you guys comment. Make sure you guys subscribe. Listen, man. Let me know what you think. Who are you picking in this fight? But again, What do I know?